Welcome to Wordpath. This week we're going to focus on the Potawatomi language. We're about to visit with Reverend Norman Kiker, who is chaplain of the Citizens Potawatomi, and he's also director of the Office of Language, Culture, and Traditions. Norman, I want to thank you for inviting the Wordpath show to come and meet with you here and talk about the Potawatomi language.
Well, Miigwech, we're glad to have you here. Miigwech is one of the first things we learn is thank you. So I'm here and I'm at your disposal.
Very good, thank you. Let's start off with a little bit of information about the tribe and the language situation in general. How many members of the Potawatomi tribe are there?
Well, presently with the roles open for our future generations at present, there are approximately 23,000 people on the road.
Now, a little bit later, I'm going to show a tape of a language class that met a few weeks ago with some information about the number of fluent speakers. I believe Walter Cooper said that there were 30-some, perhaps, and that means in the whole country. Is that correct? Does that sound right?
Yes, I believe that he was correct, and I didn't think he went far enough in saying that, or explaining that those 33 are fluent. That's probably closer. 33 that speak very well, and then we have up to 50 added on that are not fluent, but pretty good speakers.
But they still could be good, important resources in a language program.
Yes, definitely.
Now, of those fluent speakers, or even the slightly less fluent speakers, how many of those are here in Oklahoma in your immediate neighborhood?
We have one individual here who, well, he out of respect, we don't mention names or anything like that, but we have one individual here from up in Kansas that helps us out a little bit, well, actually quite a bit. And we have one that lives in Topeka, Kansas also. This individual is a wonderful guy, and they are both elders. He is Citizen Band, Potawatomi, and he's a very good speaker. We're very lucky to have him. And I might add, we're very lucky to have a man with such a good spirit and willingness to help out.
You bring up an important point, which is that of course, not all of the fluent speakers are here right at hand, and not all of the Potawatomis are either. It's a very widespread membership that you have. Could you explain a little bit about the tribal structure, the different bands and the different regions in your administrative structure, and what implications that has for your language program?
Yes. The Citizen Potawatomi Nation, which is comprised of 9 regions that have been established in the last few years in order to bring representation to those populated areas in other states with major populations. Other than our Hownicon, our newsletter, we have coordinators of the regions, directors of their regions, and I think that this also opens up a great opportunity for us to teach language outside of Oklahoma, because these are very willing and very capable individuals that will work hand in hand with us. In Oklahoma, there are approximately 6,000 plus tribal members. There are over 2,000 within our old reservation boundaries, and probably quite a few more. There are the additional 4 or more thousand in and surrounding the Tulsa areas and Oklahoma City, major population areas. And in the Shawnee area, we have, in the southeast part of the county, we have Sacred Heart, which is an old site that our people settled and raised their families and lived and died in that area. All through the, from river to river, North Canadian River to South Canadian River, Indian Meridian to what I call a line from Maud and Earlsboro that runs straight north and south.
So,
now these are the boundaries of our old land that we purchased when we left Kansas from the proceeds of the sale of our lands that were being encroached upon and robbed from us. And we purchased this. This was our land until the allotments were made and our people were separated and checkerboarded, and I think wherever the confusion can be made among people, that's where they're split up from their language and
yeah, it's a lot to overcome,
things.
isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, what are your plans for your language program at this point?
At this point, we are presently documenting. We are working with our speakers, and we are listing our own lists, comprising our own phrase lists. We have an individual that we are working with that is employed through the larger A&A grant in Hannahville, and there are 7 groups of Potawatomi throughout the United States and one in Canada. So we are working for the larger goal of preserving the language, not only for citizen Potawatomi, but we're working for the preservation of the language for every Potawatomi. And I would rather it be that way than just working on a goal just for our people only.
Can you tell us a little more about what you have in mind? I believe you mentioned a children's program this afternoon that you were going to be running in September.
We're going to prepare a small program, an experimental program. We will have approximately a 2-hour gathering with some parents, some elders, and their children, and we'll see where that takes us. That's a new thing for us. We realize that we have to take it to the children, the little ones.
This tape that we're going to be seeing in a minute was of a class held earlier this summer. It was in the week preceding your annual powwow. So there were people at that time from all over the country who came and came for the powwow, I guess, and then also joined together for some language lessons. These were sort of experimental also, weren't they? Could you explain a little about that?
Yes, they were. They were an experiment in themselves. We thought that we needed to attempt to go ahead as soon as we had an audience, a group of people who were willing to participate. And we did hold this. We've learned a lot from them. We got the lessons on film. We're going to review all of those, and we'll be able to do something with them in the near future.
I know one of your priorities, one of your important goals is to train teachers to teach the younger people. How do you envision that working?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that the individuals that we're working with are wonderful in helping us, and we are dealing with our elders, and if we look at it closely, we won't have our elders with us forever. The clock is still ticking. So we have to teach teachers. We have no choice. Our classes that we held in June, for instance, that's a good measuring stick to see who is really interested. Who pays attention to our articles that we put in the Honeycon. And those people that show the interest, and I might add, that excel in the lessons, will be those people that we ask to be teachers.
That sounds like a good plan. So the adult students of today are the teachers of the children of tomorrow.
Yes. We want to bring up children that will be able to teach also. We want young people in we want programs in, let's say, grade school, junior high, high school area, if we can manage to do those. We want to look far down the road. We don't want this cut short upon the generations in the future. We want this to be something that will last our people and last all Potawatomis. We also want other Potawatomi people of other tribal groups to join us in doing this also. We want to be a help to the 7 groups of Potawatomi.
It sounds like a very wise outlook and a good plan. I wish you every good fortune in the development of your program. And now let's go visit that class from earlier this summer.
Okay, thank you. Try to swipe. Right over there. Yeah. You already got something ready? Yeah, okay. All right. I want to welcome everyone here today. This is our second lesson of basic Potawatomi. Potawatomi 101. We normally call our speakers teachers, but I think they have chosen a better description as a helper. So they're helping us with our language. And I'd like to, again, introduce you to Walter Cooper, our helper in our language. Mr. Bud Onsaway. Tony Levere sits in with us and helps. Again, I want to welcome Jack Batiste here today. Some of my desire to learn the language, and I hope yours too, is their willingness of these people to share their time with us and try to help us. Just like Bill Batiste. Now, Bill left me something. Now, that's very important. So, I asked you today to give your time, put your sacrifice in the various regions. You're going to have people who will dedicate themselves to learning this language. It's a very big language. A lot of meanings. So there's a lot to learn. I'm going to be seated and be a student. No one can be put down for not learning at this point. We're all babies. I don't care what age you are. We're all children in this effort. And this is how we're going to work. We're going to grow up together. The only problem with that is that we're going to have to develop ways to grow up with our own offspring and our own young adults, depending on our age. And we're going to have to teach them how to speak Potawatomi, my grandchildren and yours. Now, I want you to weigh the sacrifice that you're willing to put into this. It's very important. We have to create situations in our hometowns, in our general localities, where those children can come together and not just learn to speak Potawatomi, learn how to understand it. Learn how to know the difference in these phrases, even as little bitty children. It's going to take us as adults to make this happen. But those little kids, and I'm going to be positive about this, are going to teach us more than we can teach them. Within the next 2 to 5 years, we can develop those programs and develop leaders out there who want to sacrifice their time to learn the language. Present plans are to develop teachers first. Not because you're somebody in your region, but because you're willing to give your time to do it. So it's going to be a big job. I hope you know that. You why we're doing this. We got to do this for our future. It's not us. So we're doing this for something that is well beyond our life. Okay? I'm hoping that many of you people will listen to this language and follow through with it and continue. And I might say, look at your ancestors. Dedicate yourself. Walter?
My name is Walter Kiker. I'm Potawatomi, and I was born and raised in Kansas. And I'm in Potawatomi Indian Reservation up there, and I still live up in Kansas, and I have a home on the Potawatomi Indian Reservation up there. I am a citizen of the Potawatomi, but that's the Prairie Band Reservation out there. I was married to a Prairie Band. So that's, and then my folks lived out. My mother was a Prairie Band. My father was a citizen. And, when I was quite young, my mother died, and I was raised up on my grandmother. And my grandmother spoke nothing. She could speak a little English, but not too much. She spoke nice. And we had an old man that stayed with us. He spoke English. That's how I learned. And then as the years went by, well, I could talk to other people that knew how to talk. And I really didn't know that we were losing our language. I really didn't know that until just a few years ago. I thought that everybody knew how to talk Potawatomi and could say a few words. And it really didn't dawn on me until just a few years ago. I noticed that there's a lot of people who couldn't really talk. And then as years came down again, so I couldn't even talk to anybody, like in the last 5 years. So when the Hannibal group and the Indians got together, they decided that they had a real problem here. We have a bunch of Potawatomis there, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Oklahoma and Kansas, but we didn't say anything. We lost our language, we're losing it. And they took up a survey. They went, but how many of these Potawatomis know how to speak English? So they took up a survey. Said we're going to try to get this language going again, because our younger ones can't even say one word, can't even say 2 words in Potawatomi. And they took up a survey, and they went all around and find out all those that could speak, all those in Michigan, all those in Wisconsin, all those in Indiana, all those in Oklahoma, and all those in Kansas. And you know what they came up with? Only 33 people could speak of those Potawatomi. Only 33. Isn't that was shameful? And those 33 were old. They were old like me, ready to die. And they died tomorrow, or if they died in the next 3 or 4 years, the language is gone. So that was kind of the reason that they really got on us, to see that we could at least learn 1 word of Potawatomi, so that we might be able to pass it on to our children, so that they might that we won't lose the language. That this language took thousands of years to develop, and just in our lifetime or the last few years, we're losing it. Could be just disappeared. So we want to learn at least 1 word or 2 words. one of the first things we learned how to say was a greeting. And what was that? Howdy come. And we always said that it had to be, you had to hold up your hand. Because I think most of the tribes do that. And some said, whether they said hope, but that was just an abbreviation of hop. Okay, so that's something we learned for the new ones yesterday. We learned how to say a greeting, and we hope that you'll take it back and teach your grandchildren to say at least that before the language passes away. Then the next thing, what is the next thing we learned? How are you? And how do we say that? Need to know. Need to know. That means it's this is how are you? You could add on to it, but that's kind of the abbreviation of how are you. Okay, then what was the next thing we had?
Getting along fine.
I am getting along fine. So now you have learned how to talk right off the bat. You're learning conversation right off the bat. You can say how nikon and need to know, and your answers on or she's no. What is the other thing we learned? That means no, doesn't it?
No.
What does it mean? Yes. Oh, it means yes. Okay. So you have to know. So going again means yes. Yeah, I was wrong. Okay. What's the other one we learned? Cho. Can we say cho? Not cha. Somebody said cha. Cho. Okay. That means what? No. Okay. Oh, how do we say good? Won it. Okay, good is won it. Good. Okay, we have that one. Good. Everybody have that one. Won it. Now, what's the other one? Yawn it. That means best. Okay. We learned how to say. We're learning how to talk Potawatomi a little. How do we say no? Cho. Yes. Konega. Oh, okay. What else did we have? Oh, I don't know how this got in there.
Oh, yeah. You were looking at me.
Yeah. We got in there. Somebody said it yesterday. I just did. Somebody said it. Okay. What? Beyonce. What's that mean?
Looks up.
Well, Beyonce is ugly. It's just ugly.
Okay.
What was the word you think? There was two words, wasn't there? Big question. I got a good definition yesterday from a person here saying that up north they all say meat west. And it was Frank. Is that your name, Frank? Yeah, he was saying they all say that up there in the different tribes. Potawatomi, and what about the other ones? Chippewa? Okay, maybe that's where we kind of, they all say meat-wax, and okay. So there's two ways to say thanks, meat-way-in and meat-wax. Two ways. Okay, go back to the list again.
I thought that's what you were trying to do.
Trying to get as many easy words as we can right off the bat, because we can get into a lot of phrases. Be quiet. Don't come, be quiet. Sit down. Cheap to vent. Okay. If we learn how to say sit down, we might as well learn how to say get up. Okay, remember these things, and when you take them back, well, practice them.
You said you came here from Seattle.
I came in from Seattle, Washington. I run the regional office in the state of Washington for the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. And it's long been a dream of mine to be able to learn the language, to understand the language, because it's my belief that without the language, it's real difficult to regain the heritage and the traditions and the stories of your people.
I hope you all enjoyed our show about the Potawatomi language. Right now I'm at OU to make some announcements about upcoming classes. It's August now, and starting on August the 26th, new Native American language classes will be beginning at OU. The schedule for beginning classes is as follows. There are Creek 1 classes Tuesday and Thursday from 10:30 to 11:45. Cherokee 1 is Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9:30 to 10:20. Choctaw 1 is Tuesday and Thursday from 12 to 1:15, and Kiowa 1 is Monday from 7 to 9:40. These are the 4 beginning classes that are available this semester. Now, if you've already taken the beginning level of any of these 4 languages, then you probably already have the information about the second and third courses and the sequences. We have the second available in Creek and Cherokee, and the third in all 4 languages, but you would already know about those. If you're already a regularly enrolled student at OU, of course you also know how to register for a class, and I encourage you to add these to your schedule. If you're not and you'd just like to take this one class, the tuition cost per unit is about $60, I think, and there are other student fees, but if you call the evening students office, which is for students who just take 1 or 2 classes, you may be able to do without some of those extra fees. They're in the Oklahoma Memorial Union, room 216, and their phone number is 325-4028. If you register the first week of classes, which will be the week of August 26th, there's a $20 late fee, but as long as there's still room in the classes, you can still enroll. Good luck and have fun studying at OU.
Na hene yo hene, na hene yo hene, ana magwana kita, wa pene manaoni kita. Na hene yo hene, na hene yo hene, ana magwana kita, wa pene manaoni kita. Na hene yo hene, na hene yo hene, ana magwana kita, wa pene manaoni kita. Na hene yo hene, na hene yo hene, ana magwana kita, wa pene manaoni kita.